5:01. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Design Review Board meeting of February 27th, 2025. The DRB meeting is now called to order. Please refrain from talking among yourselves during the meeting, and please turn off or put on vibrate all cell phones at this time. For public comments and questions during the meeting, please call 818-937-8100. City staff will be submitting the questions and comments in real time to the appropriate person. Current DRB agendas and staff reports are available by visiting our website at www.glendaleca.gov. I'm going to repeat that again, www.glendaleca.gov. Records of decisions for all projects will be posted online on the Planning Division's website. A handout describing the procedures of the meeting, possible board decisions, and DRB appeal is available from staff. Please note that any appeal of a case heard today must be filed within 15 calendar days of the DRB decision date. Meetings are also archived on the city's website for viewing anytime at glendaleca.gov/agendas. Roll call. Board Member Lockruff is absent. Board Member Simonian is absent. Board Member Welch.
Present.
Board Member Halajian.
Present.
Chair Kaskanian.
Present.
Reports regarding posting of agenda. The agenda for the February 27, 2025 regular meeting of the Glendale Design Review Board was posted on the city's website on February 20th, 2025, and on the bulletin boards outside City Hall on February 24th, 2025. Approval of the minutes from the January 23rd meeting and the February 13th, we're going to postpone to the next, so we have all the board members present. Okay. Oral communication. Discussion is limited to items not a part of this agenda. Each speaker is limited to 5 minutes. Designer Review Board may question or respond to the speaker, but there will be no debate or decision. I do not have any oral communication cards. You don't either. Okay. So regarding board members or comments, we do have a staff comment. And I would like, please join me in welcoming Rafi Halajian to the Design Review Board as our new board member. Rafi is a professional engineer, graduated from the University of Southern California with a bachelor's in structural engineering and a master's in civil engineering and construction. And he has extensive experience in construction management and project engineering. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Rafi. Welcome, and share a few words with us.
Yeah, thank you. Excited to be here. Thank you for the staff to get me up to date with all the projects. Looking forward to working with the board members and serving the community and the city that I love and the community that I'm part of. So thank you very much and look forward.
Thank you. Welcome. We will jump. We do not have any old business, so we can move straight to new business. And the first item would be 5236 Maryland Avenue, Designer Review Board Case 004075-2024, and the case planner is Eric G.
Thank you, Chair and board members. This is Associate Planner Eric G. presenting. The project is proposing to build a new 3,496 square foot, two-story single-family residence with an attached two-car garage. They will be demoing the existing detached garage and converting the existing single-family residence into an accessory dwelling unit. The site is located on a 19,860 square foot lot in the R1 zone, District 2. And as shown on the map, it's located in the north of Glendale, at the end street of the Maryland Avenue. Looking at the aerial view, it's abutting 3 properties. The subject property sits on a higher elevation. To the north, where the special recreation is a special recreation zone for the Ananda Ashrama, a religious retreat. Survey map, each contour line represents 2 feet. So from the street to the existing house, there will be about approximately 18 feet elevation difference. So from the street view here is we're looking at the story pole framing the proposed outline building, and you will see a little bit of the adjacent neighbors at the lower elevation to show the height difference. Here we see the existing residence that will be converted to the ADU, and we can see the proposed flagpole on the left. For the neighborhood context, there are varieties of architecture, some two-story residences as well. And here is the proposed rendering of the two-story residence. And going back to the topography, so this project will have about approximately 700 cubic yards of fill to level the area to build the new proposed new residence. And seen here in the site section, we see highlighted in the red the fill area. From the main house, or the existing house, there'll be about 10 feet height difference to where the building pad of the new proposed residence. Looking at the context of the other building adjacent properties, there are no direct sight to the neighboring property windows, and the windows facing towards the neighboring properties are set back further to mitigate privacy impacts. Shown here are the floor plans, the first floor plan on the left and the second story on the right. And the roof plan showing the variations of the roof forms. Here we see the elevation view of the proposed, and then the rendering to show the including with the materials that are proposed. So staff recommends approval with following conditions. Condition 1, to revise the plans to reduce the height of the attached garage. Condition 2, to revise the plan to show the location of the trash storage and downspout in appropriate locations. Condition 3, to reduce the scale of windows marked A to be proportional with the window with the new residence. And condition 4 is to use of concrete molding or other high quality material molding as opposed to the proposed urethane material. And that concludes staff's presentation. Staff is available to answer any questions. And we had one public comment received, and the applicants are available as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for staff?
I have one question. What was the import, the fill import to cubic yard?
It was approximately 630.
Okay, thank you.
All right. No other comments for staff. Gonna open it up now to the public. We have one card. Tim Cotter? Yes. If you could please approach the podium and state your name.
My name's Tim Cotter. I own the adjacent property. All right. I'm really here just to find out what's going on, and I wish that I could have heard the presentation better in conjunction with the slides. Are they available online somewhere for perusal?
Sorry, one second. Do we have a card for the applicant or the applicant here?
An applicant for this case is
Yep.
present?
Yes, they are present.
Let's have the applicant in that case.
Yeah, could you also fill out the card too, please? If you could also fill out a card, just in case if you want to come speak after.
Would you like the applicant, though, to come first and kind of go over, since
Yep.
typically that's
Yeah,
the
that's the
protocol?
case. Yep.
And then we will have the
Yep.
gentleman come back.
So we'll have him go
That
first.
will
Thank
be
you about that.
Perfect, because I may not need to speak at all.
Thank you. Vajik, why don't you give me that? And then just go to the podium, and then when you're done, come back and continue filling it out, okay? I'll leave it right here.
Good afternoon.
Hello. Yeah, if you could, sorry about that. If you could please state your name.
My name is Vachik Tersarkisian, and I am a member of design team. I'm not the sole architect for this project. There are others involved too. So,
Okay. Is there anything that you'd like to speak to in regards to the project?
actually, it was presented pretty well. Some of the recommendations already we done that.
Okay.
So I don't think any other conditions pending for that.
Okay. And so you're part of the design team, you said?
Yes.
Okay. I think there's no, do you have any questions or any questions for the applicant?
So you said some of the conditions, does that mean all of the conditions
Like
that
the
staff had
last I
put?
heard, the moldings should be concrete and not whatever it is.
Everything.
We corrected that. It should be the way that the city recommends.
And the garage height, the window sizes?
Garage height is actually, we can do it, but I don't see any problem with that. If there is a justifiable problem, I can hear it, and I can discuss with the owners.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Any other questions?
I may have one question. So it seems the new proposed structure versus the existing, you're putting a retaining wall in
Yes.
between?
Yes.
And-
Actually, there is an existing retaining wall, very low, like 18 inches, 20 inches. We just improve whatever is there, some cosmetic changes, nothing dramatic.
Have you consulted that with a structural engineer?
Yes.
And they said the foundations are sound?
Yes.
Okay. That's the only question.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, sir. Tim, if you'd like to approach now.
Okay, well, I have had no access to any of the plans or the plot plans or anything, and so I'm shooting in the dark here. And I would really appreciate if Eric could rerun the bit of the presentation so that I could see and hear at the same time the whole thing.
Which part?
Well, you had several sketches of the proposed frontage on the building, and there were recommendations. Yes, I would like to know, my concern, my property is much lower by the natural grade of the land. And I see that the garage, if I'm correct, is on the south side of the street. So my property would be on the lower portion of. Yes, if I may.
Yeah, but you just have to speak over here because they won't be able to hear.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is me. And this is the applicant. And so, given the grade difference, obviously, they're going to be looking down on my property, and I just need to understand what the design was. I've never seen it before. And my understanding now is that the applicant's garage and driveway are along the property line that we would be sharing. Is that a correct understanding? Okay, and then to the right half of the applicant's property there, that is the existing structure that is going to be rehabilitated and okay. Then the grade changes drastically in the back there. And then the dark line between the two halves on the applicant's property, that's the retaining wall you spoke of earlier, I believe? Yes, that one.
Sir, that's correct, but you can't have a lot of cross communications here.
Is there any direct questions you have?
Well, I can't say that I do. like I say, I came here for an understanding because I had none.
Okay.
I was hoping that Eric might repeat the 4 recommendations, were they?
Yeah. He can go over the 4 conditions real quick.
So the condition 1 would be to reduce the height of the garage.
Reduce the height of the garage,
Yep.
okay?
Condition 2 would be to show the location of the trash storage and downspouts in appropriate locations.
I'm sorry, I'm not catching
So-
that.
To revise the plans to show the location of the trash bins and downspouts.
Yes?
Condition 3 would be to reduce the scale of the windows marked A. So these
The ones
5
on the
windows.
first floor.
Oh, so that there's not quite as large.
Correct.
Okay.
To reduce the scale, correct.
Yes. And then last condition is to use concrete molding or other high quality material for the moldings instead of the urethane that was proposed.
And these would be the moldings around the windows, the arch, and the doorway and so forth? Okay.
Yes.
Very fine. And then,
Sir?
Yes,
I'm sorry, the time has run out, but is there any last thought you'd like to share before we close it?
no, sir,
No?
except, is there any of this that I can subscribe to online?
Yeah, so if you go to Glendale, what was the website,
I'll get
glendaleca.gov?
it.
Yeah, if you go to their main website, you could find the agenda and meeting minutes. Our staff could help you out if you'd
Yes.
like, but you could find it on the website.
Yeah, all of them are available to download.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If the gentleman would like to stay after, he can maybe meet with the case planner briefly, and then just
Yeah.
to make note of how to access the website.
Perfect,
Eric and I were in email today, so
perfect.
we can pick that up.
Awesome, thank you so much, sir.
All right, thank you.
Is there any other, or rebuttal?
Yeah, I don't know if there's a rebuttal technically, but we have a caller, okay.
James, you're on the air.
Hi. Yeah, my name is James Faber. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. So I live on Rim Hill Road, directly behind the Maryland property that you guys are talking about. I looked at all the plans and everything, and I have been in touch with the planner also, and I think my personal feeling is it looks fine. My main concern, and it hasn't been addressed only in that you guys need more information, but I just want to make sure that the ball doesn't get dropped, is there is a very steep grade going from his property into my property. And I want to be sure with all the new added roof lines that are going into that property that the drainage from everything does not end up in my property, because this has been a problem in the past when we get super heavy rains, and I can only imagine if it's not addressed and the drainage is not taken out to the street on Maryland, that it's all going to end up in my yard. So that's my only comment.
Thank you. Any more callers?
No more calls.
Thank you. I don't know if the applicant wanted to address the concern that the neighbor just had in regards to the grading and I guess the downfall of the water during the rain. If you can come over here, yep.
On the back portion of the property, we don't do any grading. We leave it as it is. We just improve some cosmetic changes like hardscaping and the gazebo, existing gazebo, we are proposing exactly the same size of gazebo, new one. It's in the plan check right now, but no grading changes.
Okay, yeah, I think his question was more in regards to the actual like downspouts of the water flow, just to ensure that, you know, it is properly located in
We
areas
have
where
our engineers
Okay.
work on that.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Sir, I have a question for you. On the plans, it calls out for these two doors on the second floor facing the street to be of the same size, but on the rendering here, they look different. This one looks smaller. Can you clarify whether this one is actually a 5-foot or less window?
I will take
door?
a look at that. I don't know what version of drawings you have there. but
These were in our packet, so this is what
Okay.
we're basing our decision on tonight.
I will check that
Okay,
and let the planner know.
okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, so no more callers. Okay, so we're gonna, yep, close the public portion. Now going into deliberation. Representative Welsh, if you want to get us started.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Okay, generally speaking, I have no big issues with this project. Excuse me. It's a kind of an unusual situation where you have a house in the back and you're building a new house in the front. So as a result of that, you're kind of constricted a little bit in terms of the footprint that you can use. And, you know, given the program that they're attempting to do, it, you know, basically forces it into a more boxy kind of a shape. That having been said, you know, within the, you know, the size of the property, the FAR is okay. They're not doing an overreach here in terms of size. There's not a lot around there. I'm not really hearing any real objections from any of the neighbors, you know. Style-wise, there's no real singular style in the neighborhood, so they can pretty much do what they want. So I'm going to restrict my commentary mostly to the things that I think we can do to help to improve the design. Starting from Mr. G's conditions, I think that I agree with all of his conditions. Those windows on the front are out of scale. They tend to overpower that facade, so I think shrinking them down to, you know, 80% of the size that they are, something like that, I think would make them look better and not overpower. I think the same could be said also of the sliding doors there on the front. If in fact they are both the number 6 door, I think that they're too large and they should probably be the number made to be the size of the number 5s that they're using on the sides. So I think scaling all those down just a little bit will help rebalance the composition of the facade, have less of that huge amount of glass and a little bit more balanced with the other materials that they're using on the facade. I believe that reducing the height of the garage a little bit would be correct. I don't think it needs to be brought down a lot, but I think a little bit, maybe a foot down. There was plenty of clearance in the garage, so I think bringing it down a foot would help, again, to adjust the scale of that appendage to the main design. There were, in the plans that we saw, I don't see it in that particular elevation, but in the plans we saw, there are lights on the front here, flanking on the posts here, which I think is an incorrect location for them. I think the lights should be inside the porch, creating light in the entryway area rather than on the outside of it. So I would recommend that those be removed from the outside if in fact that is the location and brought inside, whether it's, you know, a nice chandelier hanging down from the middle of the porch or lights flanking, you know, sconces flanking the front door. I think that that would be a better way to light the entranceway and not create a lot of light pollution out into the neighborhood. This is a very, you know, unique space against a very, you know, natural neighbor, and I think you want to do the most you can to minimize the amount of light pollution that is coming from the house that could be, you know, escaping into the neighborhood. And then lastly, typically when we're looking at sort of a modern interpretation of a Spanish style, we prefer to see 2 pieces, roof tiles instead of the S tiles. So I'll put it out there for discussion here, but typically we usually make that as a condition as well, that they use 2-piece tiles as opposed to the single S tiles. Aside from that, I think that's the overall design is fine. I think the materials being specified, accepting the use of those moldings, which Mr. G caught, I think is correct. So I would be prepared to move it forward. I particularly am intrigued by this double-story height glass in that space that looks up into the mountains. I think from every perspective inside the home, seeing that is going to be a really magnificent vista for the users of the house. So I think that's, a nice design feature. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Welch. Yeah, I do agree that window, it does look really nice. But thank you all. Thank you for your comments as well. And to the caller for giving a call. Overall, I am in support of the project. I do agree with my fellow board member in regards to the windows. If we could reduce the scaling of the windows, I think it would help out a lot. And then in regards to the collar with the downspouts for the water, just ensuring, I'd like to include that just to ensure that, the drainage for the water doesn't go to the neighbor's property and just flood it over there. Especially now with a bunch of the wildfires and the mudslides and all that stuff, we just need to ensure everything is done correct. Agree with reducing the scale of the height of the garage just a little bit as well. I think it could help out. It is a very unique property with the size, so I think that overall it's done. You all have done a great job. Agree with the lights as well, having it more inside. Board Member Welch, I think it's something that you always catch is in regards to the lights, so I thank you. And then with the two-piece tiles, I'm in agreement with that as well. So, thank you. And then Board Member Haladian, thank you.
Thank you. I do share the same views of my colleagues here, and then the staff's recommendation. I do agree that the garage could be lowered slightly to accommodate the neighbors' concerns. Overall, I thought this design is smart, how you're utilizing the existing structure and adding to it. Your materials are they are high quality, and I do like the design and the aesthetics of it. With that said, I do have two serious concerns in regards to the drainage. Even though you are not disturbing the back of the property, yes, the color, I do share the same concerns with the color. You're adding a lot of hardscape to the property, and hence there's going to be a lot of sheet flow of the water. So I would like to see maybe the staff can strongly, I don't want to overstep of the, plan checkers or anything, but maybe some type of a strong recommendation when it comes to drainage and what the proper procedures are to mitigate any drainage to the neighboring property. And I do also, my second concern is the adding significant amount of landfill. You're bringing 630 cubic yards of fill. That is not a small amount. So I would like to see some type of structural analysis on that 5-foot retaining wall. I don't think that's sufficient, but I would let the structural engineer and the plan checker to verify that. So overall, I'm in support of the project, and yeah, nice work. Thank you.
All right, I think we have some additional conditions that we added. So I don't know if you want to read any of them.
Yes. So, the condition to reduce the height of the garage.
Yep.
Condition to reduce the scale of the windows, A, and the sliding door, 6. To rebalancing for proportionality. Eliminate the lights in the exterior and to be brought into inside of the porch.
Mm-hmm.
Use of 2-piece Mission clay tiles instead of the single tile roof. Use of concrete molding or of other higher quality molding material instead of the urethane. Ensure that the drainage is oriented to the streets and not to the rear of the property. And
The last one, I believe, is more of a structural
More of a recommendation.
recommendation, which, when they go through plan check,
Yep,
our building and safety staff plan check will
verify that.
verify that.
Yes, I have confirmed with the building staff as well on the drainage issue when it was first brought up, so they are aware of it. Yeah.
And they would just verify compliance for their retaining wall
Yep,
with,
the structural integrity of the retaining wall, yep.
Yep.
Okay.
to comply with building code.
Yep.
And then a couple of questions I just want to confirm regarding the height reduction for the garage. Do you want to be specific? Like how much lower, or we don't want to be that prescriptive?
We usually are not that prescriptive. I was just putting a foot out there as a suggestion. I don't think it needs to be a lot, but some reduction, I think.
Yep.
And in terms of using, like, I thought I heard something about a higher quality for the molding. Did you want to be, again, a little more prescriptive, like? in the
I think
past?
Mr. G's condition was fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we
Alright.
have a motion with those conditions, the added conditions plus what was already in the report?
Yeah, I'll move to approve the project with the conditions that were in the report, plus the additional ones we added tonight.
And I'll second that.
Okay, so we got a motion by Board Member Welch to approve with condition, and a second by Board Member Halajian. Board Member Welch,
Yes.
Board Member Halajian,
Yes.
and Chairperson Kaskanian.
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Are we ready? All right, we can get started.
Hello, thank you. Good evening, Design Review Board members and members of the public. Thank you. Subject project is 1826 Ransom Road, Design Review Board case PDR 004199 to 2024. The project site is located on the west side of the city in the El Miradero neighborhood. The site consists of two adjoining irregularly shaped interior lots totaling 43,784 square feet. Access to the property is from Ransom Road. Originally developed in 1955, the site features a two-story, 4,769 square foot single-family residence with an attached substandard three-car garage, an in-ground pool, a separate spa, and a rear deck that overlooks a steep downhill slope to the south. The residence is a ranch style with Cape Cod revival influence, situated on a flat level pad in the southwestern area of the property. The adjoining lot to the north consists of an upgrade uphill slope. Sorry. Oh, let me return, sorry. The site features one indigenous coast live oak tree, and no impact to this tree is anticipated. The Public Works Urban Forestry staff noted 2 scrub oaks located adjacent to the driveway along the east. 2 conditions of approval have been added to update the landscape plan to include the existing 3 trees, shrubs on the site plan, and obtain an indigenous tree permit for protection of the existing oak trees and shrubs. Views towards the neighbors. These photographs were taken from the project site, showing views facing each of the 3 adjacent neighboring properties. The steep slope and significant grade difference result in an angled visual orientation. The neighborhood fabric primarily consists of ranch-style houses, some with mid-century modern influence. 90% of the houses are single-story. The proposed additions and remodel will not significantly replace the existing footprint and will not alter the existing topography and site planning. There are no proposed changes to the existing entry gate and retaining walls. No grading work is being proposed for this project. The proposed new landscape is appropriately replaces the existing asphalt on the driveway and incorporates permeable decorative pavers, grasscrete pavers, low water use plants, and maintains the existing chaparral vegetation on the hillside. The existing pool will remain while the existing separate spa will be removed. The proposal will demolish 48% of the existing residence. The proposal includes 634 square foot addition to the first floor. The existing non-conforming 3-car garage will remain in its current location and will be remodeled to bring it to zoning code compliance. This slide identifies the existing walls on the second floor that will remain, and the ones being demolished, and the newly constructed walls. The proposal includes a 569 square foot second floor. The total additions would be 1,203 square feet. The volume to the north facade would be the new entry lobby to the residence. The proposal includes the complete removal of the existing roof and the construction of a flat roof that aligns with the new architectural style. The downspouts are concealed within the walls, ensuring they do not create any visual impact. The proposed project remodel involves changing the architectural style from the ranch style with the Cape Cod Revival influence to a contemporary modern design and is consistent with the design guidelines. The proposed flat roof is 6 inches less than the existing 25-foot 6-inch gable roof. The viewed on the south elevation, the upper left side, of the slide, the trash bin enclosure area and mechanical equipment are appropriately screened from the public. However, a condition of approval is added to update the plan to reduce the height of the proposed 8-foot tall side gate to align with the walls. The proposed windows are appropriate to the overall design and are not directly aligned with the neighboring windows. The proposed windows include recessed black color fiberglass windows and appropriate combination of hung, fixed, and horizontal sliding operation without exterior sill and trim. The proposed deck extension features a lower level seating area that cantilevers from the main structure overlooking the ungraded open space. A condition of approval is recommended to pull back this cantilever projection in order to follow the downsloping topography, as well as reduce any privacy conflict for the neighbors to the south. A condition of approval is also recommended to update the site plan to include the location of the proposed 8-foot metal fence gate shown on section 2. The roof patio above the attached 3-car garage reduces massing by proposing an open space without walls, providing transparency and airflow. The design of the exterior light fixtures is appropriate to the proposed architectural style and includes strip recessed lighting on the second floor covered outdoor patio and the outdoor wall lanterns. A condition of approval is recommended to reduce the amount of exterior lighting in order to avoid spillover and overlit facades. Render 2, the southeast view, the lower level seating area referenced in the condition of approval is more clearly visible, as well as the amount of exterior lighting. The overall design, detailing, materials, and color palette are consistent with the proposed modern architectural style. They provide clean lines, geometric shapes, large windows, and a neutral color palette with neutral and industrial materials. The proposed exterior materials and color includes smooth finish cement plaster, limestone veneer, travertine split face wall tiles, metal cladding, roof canopy parapet, glass railings, and concrete planter boxes. As the conditions of approval, I had already gone through them through the presentation. This is the summary of the 6 conditions of approval from staff. As it relates to public comments, staff did not receive any written comments during the comment period. This concludes my presentation. Staff is available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for staff?
I have none.
Nope. All right. So we'll open it up to the public now. I have the applicant, architect, Aram Alajajan.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello, good afternoon, members of the board. I'm Aram Alajajan, the address is 320 Arden, City of Glendale. The proposed project is altering basically the style of the architecture. We are maintaining the footprint, as Columba mentioned, of the existing building. If you look at the existing building, what it took to remodel this extensively. So the mansard area that you look at it, you can't even walk there. It is so low ceiling at the second floor when you go in there. And the building is really tired, as far as the structure is concerned. So we decided to remodel that. One thing that it would help this project was adding that entry element, because the entrance was very poor. When you're coming in, that circular stair basically blocked everything from the view on to the building. And the drawings are there. We're maintaining the frame, the structure, basically, and enhancing the overall look of it. It's a contemporary style. We're using the limestone and a steel trowel finish stucco around the building. Metal cladding also would be involved, to bring it up. So the base itself is a heavier stone, and then the upper second floor is treated with a cement plaster. And then we have this protruded elements that are coming out of it, architectural forms play on with the balconies. And the balconies have wing walls and a glazing that attack each other, and that will be very attractive when you look at the form by itself. So it's not really a simple box. It has its own language of architecture there. It's lower than the existing structure. It doesn't change the footprint. It's not superimposed any of the housing next to it. It sits above like 40 feet from the next door neighbors, so I think that it falls into the category where at the beginning we thought that even design review board wouldn't be required for that, because there was a streamlined process. I heard through the planning department that could have been achieved, but we decided to come through this and make sure that everything is done properly. Other than that, I had a few conditions that in there that I want to talk about it. If you want me to do it later, we'll do it now. Can you bring up that 6 conditions? Let me run over it, because some of them I agree, some of them I don't. I'll tell you why. So the cantilever projection is the deck that we're proposing to add. If you look at the site plan or overall plan, the backyard is very nice. It extends to the east side of it. However, when you come out of the house, it's such a short area that you would not be enjoying your backyard coming out of the kitchen or a living room. So the extension of that deck, which is level with the backyard, helps a lot to achieve that nicer backyard. It's not superimposing to anyone. Now that projection, that condition is, according that, it is lowered. It's stepped down. It's like a fire pit and a conversation area. We're talking about that. So I don't think pulling back it's going to do any good to the project, and it's not, intruding to anything. I would really like to have the approval of that cantilevering out, because that speaks with the rest of the architecture. You have protrusions coming out like balconies. This is an element that repeats in the backyard, and it carries on the same language that you have happening in the house. So I like to backyard or hardscape or landscape to be matching with whatever is going on with the vocabulary of the architecture. So that's one of the conditions I would like you to take a look at it. Can you bring back the conditions again? Landscape plan include the, okay, existing oak trees. We had the city arborist to visit there. He didn't see any problems. We contacted him yesterday and we received an email. He's coming back to identify those shrubs that are concerned. He said he had no concern. I met him on the property months ago, but, we will meet him again. So that's not, we can go over that later. So for the 2 and 3 is that, and then, so 8 foot, yeah, number 4 is fine because we already reduced it, it was, on the original scheme. 4 and 5 is okay, we accept that. Exterior lights, those are placed architecturally in a position of the walls that they're washing down. If you look at the light fixture, we provided the light fixture in there. They wash down. They're not shining on anybody's face. Basically this is illuminating the facade architecturally or a footwalk wherever the parameter of the house is. So, reducing that is not going to do any good to the project, So you got to add somewhere anyway the light to have a proper lighting within the backyard. Okay, those are the things I wanted to talk about.
Thank you. Before you leave, do we have any questions?
Yeah, I actually did not see an image of the light fixture
It's
in
in
here.
it's in the pocket. I can tell you which page is
Where,
that.
yeah, please tell me which page. Oh, I see it here. It's on page A 3.2.
Correct.
Okay, all right. So they do not throw any light outside, they're
they're
just
basically down, shine
shining
it.
down?
Yes,
Up and down, or
Up and
just
down,
down?
yeah.
Up and down?
yeah. Actually, the luminous effect on the up is a little bit low, the type of the fixture that is in there. Down, it's more downwards, it basically illuminates the floor area.
Okay.
All right.
Any other questions? Nope. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We have the owners. We have Katya Orfali and Shahe Orfali. Did anyone want to speak? Yeah.
Hi, my name's Katya, and I just want to say thank you for being here today to review our project. We've been waiting 2 years since we bought the property, and as you guys saw, it's a pretty old house. It was built in the 50s, so we're really excited to hopefully get this approved, and just want to say thank you for, overviewing our project, and that's all.
Thank you. All right. And then we also have the contractor, Serko.
Yes.
If you could just address your name, please.
My name is Serko Gatchadorian. I'm the president of Quadrant Inc. We specialize in hillside construction. We've done quite a few in the Hollywood Hills. Prior to that, I was a member of the team that built Rancho San Rafael. So that was also lots of hillside work. We also have done lots of very contemporary homes, so the style speaks to us, and I'm sure we'll do a good work. More importantly, the owner contacted me beforehand to be involved in the design process. So that is helping things to move forward smoothly. Thanks.
Thank you so much. All right, and then we have one more speaker card here, Giraid Kholilian. If you could state your name, please.
I'm Girard Konyalian. I am a friend of the owner since college, and I'm a developer. I have developed a whole bunch of homes from 2,000 square feet to 12,000 square feet, a lot of them hillside, commercial, and otherwise. So he asked me to sort of supervise the project and get the right people. I introduced him to an amazing architect who designed my own house. I don't need to introduce him. He's also the architect of the Armenian Museum here in Glendale. And then I also introduced him to a contractor that I've known since childhood. And we have done multiple projects together, and amazing reputation and very high quality homes. I mean, so this is a very exciting project. You know, we are changing a dated old home into something amazing without actually increasing the footprint, without increasing the height. But it is becoming a lot more functional. Right now, the division inside the house and all that is completely dysfunctional, as the architect mentioned. So I think it's going to be an added value to Glendale to have, you know, a project like this. And I also agree with the architect that please do not change the lighting. You know, you can change the voltage of the lights. You know, you can put other conditions, but for the type of the house it's better to have low light, multiple, because you want to define the architectural elements there. And if you cut down the light, I think it's not going to do that. Also, you're going to have blind areas. So I think the number of lights there, you know, I hope you will accept to keep it the same, but put other conditions in case you're worried about affecting the neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, those are all the speaker cards. Any callers? One caller. All right.
Hello, Eileen?
Yes, hello.
Okay, you're on the air. You have 3 minutes.
Great, thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is Aline. I live in Glendale, and I would love to support this renovation for Ransom Road. The project will enhance the neighborhood and increase the property values and contribute to the beauty of our community. I know that new construction has always helped our community. It's made it more, it's improved our area, and I fully support it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, any other callers? There's another caller.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Hello. Hello, Astik.
Hi, yes.
Hi, you're on the air. You have 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much. Hi, everybody. My name is Asik Sahakian. I'm a resident of Glendale, and I want to voice my support for the renovation at this location that we're speaking about today. It's a well-designed remodel, and it will bring new life to the area and set a positive example for future improvements. I really hope that this project is supported and approved so that it can benefit the beautification of our community. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank you. All right, any other callers?
Yes, we actually do have 6 more callers.
6 more callers?
Yes.
All right.
Hello, Ara?
Hi.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
You're on the air. You have 3 minutes.
Perfect. Hi, everyone. My name is Ara. Calling to express my strong support for the proposed renovations. The design enhances our community's character, and I am confident it will be a great addition. I appreciate the board's transparency and clarity and hope you approve this project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Lena?
Yes.
Hi, Lena. You're on the air. You have 3 minutes.
Hi. How are you? My name is Lena Turkizden. I also live in Glendale, and I really fully support this renovation of 1826 Ransom Road. And I think it will be a beautiful project that brings beauty to our community. and please support this effort to the beauty of our community. Please support this. Thank you.
Thank you, Lena.
Thank.
Hello, Girard.
Yes, my name is Girard. I'm a resident of Glendale. Please support this renovation on Ransom Boulevard. It will add value to the community, and it will lead to the beautification of the neighborhood. And I know the architect and the contractor, and they will do a swell of a job, which will enhance Glendale's beautification. Thank you very much. I will full-heartedly support this project. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Girard.
Hello, Christina. Hello, Christina. I'll place her on hold for now. Yeah. Hello, Edward.
Good evening.
Hi, Edward. You're on air. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Edward. I am a Glendale resident. I am calling in to express my strong and enthusiastic support for this project. I believe the plans are very thoughtfully designed. The project demonstrates a clear commitment to improving the property and with it the neighborhood and the community. The project will enhance property values, improve neighborhood aesthetics, demonstrate responsible development, and of course set a positive precedent for the neighborhood and the community and the city. And so I do fully support, and I hope the board fully supports the project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Arush.
Hello.
Hi. You're on air. You have 3 minutes.
Great. Hi, guys. My name's Arush, so I'm calling in regards to 1826 Ransom Road. I live in the area and fully support its renovations. We really need this type of aesthetic in our community. I feel like Glendale is known for this. It'll only help increase our property values, much like everyone else has been saying. I feel there's no negatives attached to it. I only see positives, so I highly encourage the council to approve it.
Thank you, Arus.
Hello, Alexa.
Hi, my name is Alexis Rocky. I also live in the neighborhood. I just want to extend my support for the project to remodel the house. I think it's going to make the house really beautiful and also improve the area. So please support the effort.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, 1 second to last. Oh, there's a new one. Hello, Natalie.
Hello, everyone. My name is Natalie, and I'm a Glendale resident myself. I wanted to express my full support for this new renovation of 1826 Ransom Road. The plan looks great, and I'm looking forward to the next steps of it. And I really believe that this project will enhance the neighborhood and will continue to beautify our amazing community in Glendale. I think that this improvement is exactly what Glendale needs, and I truly encourage this amazing project. I hope the board can, too, support this project. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, thank you, Natalie. Hello, Verona.
Yes.
Hi, Verona. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Verona. I'm a Glendale resident, and the presented design looks exquisite the way it is presented, and hopefully it gets approved the way it already is foreseen by the architect. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. I'll go back to the one that was on hold. Hello, Christina. Hello, Christina. No. Okay, that's all the callers.
Thank you. No callers. We're good with public cards. All right, we're going to close the public.
Rebuttal?
Oh. Is there any rebuttal? Yeah, everyone was in favor. Yeah, I think we're good. All right, we're closing the public portion of the hearing. Now we'll go into deliberation. Board Member Walsh, if you'd like us to get started.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and let me give my congratulations to the application team. A good job pulling out a lot of supporters on that. That's an unusual circumstance. So I think the project is wonderful. I think that you've done a very good job here. It's a unique site. It doesn't impose upon the street. It's already an existing, large home, but you're not really pushing the boundaries at all. I think that it's, in terms of what you could have done, it's quite modest. I agree, the existing plans, I mean, let's face it, it's a pretty major change design-wise, but it's a modern aesthetic. There are other homes in the neighborhood that are of the same design aesthetic, so I think it's well in keeping with that. And the changes you've made, pushing out the entryway like that, having it, you enter at a 90-degree angle to the view, so you enter, turn, face the view, very nice. So I give you full credit for that. I think it's a very, very nice design, very well balanced. The way you've done the asymmetry of the design, balancing it appropriately, even the big cantilevered roof, works into the design. It's something that in another context I might say it's overbearing, but it really works here. It's pulled into the design. It's echoed in other elements. So I think you've done a very good job here. I do support the project. I think the one condition that we should, well, two really, is what we should talk about, is the lighting and the cantilever. When I first saw the conditions, I didn't get a chance to go to visit the backside of the property. It's all fenced off, so I could really just see it from the street. So I couldn't really see that. So I studied Google Earth. I looked at the location of the homes nearby. It doesn't seem like it really overlaps any of the neighboring properties. I haven't heard anything from a neighbor that complains about it. I think the closest neighboring area is like the driveway area or the entry drive court of the house below. So it doesn't seem like it's going to be much of an imposition to it. I appreciate what the applicant says in terms of how it works with the design, how it echoes elements of the way the balconies and stuff are protruding. So I can, from an aesthetic standpoint, I can appreciate that. So normally I would have agreed with the applicant, or with the staff about this condition, because cantilevering is not something that we typically allow. It goes against the guidelines in terms of, following the topography. But in this case, in this context, how it works in terms of the overall design, I am okay with it. I think that perhaps if there's any concern that staff has about how people sitting in that seating area might, be impeding the privacy of the house below, maybe we could adjust it to look at that to make sure that it's not impacting any privacy issues of the house below. But generally speaking, I'm fine with how it's been done. Lighting, Mr. Alginian knows I really have a pet peeve about over-lighting facades, putting lights in places that are not appropriate, creating light pollution. I think that's in just about every location where I saw lighting here, there was a practical reason for it. There was a balcony, there was a patio, there was some reason for it. There's a lot of it. I'll grant staff what they say. There is a lot of it. So having it as more wall washing lights, where it's not actually polluting out into the areas. This house is also down a very long driveway, so there's not a lot of other houses around it. So I'm more amenable to allowing it, with maybe we can adjust the condition that says to study it to make sure that there's not any excessive light pollution from the lights that might, affect neighboring properties. Not necessarily a strict reduce the number, but restudy to make sure that there's not a lot of excessive light. So if we could rephrase the condition that way, I think that I would be fine with that. But otherwise, fine, good. I think it's really nice. Good job. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Rush. Yeah, I can go next. I do fully support this project. I think you all have done an amazing job. A great team in place, and the residents of Glendale, whoever called, we're all in favor and support of it. I'm excited to see how it's going to come out. I do think I'm in agreement with removing the condition number 1, so I'm okay in favor of that. And in regards to the lights, like how I said in the beginning, Board Member Welsh loves to ensure that's always addressed. But yes, I think that we can maybe rephrase it, like you said, Board Member Welch, and just ensure that the light that's used, and you've already stated that it's not going to be something that's, overpopulating or, lighting going into the neighbors. So overall, in support, I'm excited to see it come alive.
Yeah, thank you. I'm familiar with your work, Mr. Judjan. Again, another beautiful design by you and by your team. It's how to say this. My initial reaction to the cantilever was, it's as Board Member Welch said, it's unusual, but looking at it with the more holistically and looking at the design and what you're trying to achieve here, and not impeding on the privacy, I do agree with the comments that this board made. Maybe with the staff, again, changing the wording of if there's any nuisance or privacy concerns from the nearby neighbors, maybe they can adjust that with a proper design, but overall, I'm in support of the cantilever. Lighting, as long as it's highlighting the architectural elements, that's perfectly fine. It's not overpowering the neighbors, so whether that's reducing the LED count or the voltage, I leave it up to the design team to rebuttal. I think there was one more oak tree concern. Was that my? It's not a concern? Okay. Sure. All right. Overall, in support, I do like the design, and yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. If you could maybe want to read the conditions, or we're removing condition number 1, correct?
Well, I think we said adjust it so that, just study any privacy impacts on the neighboring property, but if there's none, then I think it's okay.
So by adjusting the study, it's not necessarily pulling it back, it's maybe making it opaque, or?
I'm not even saying making it opaque, it's just looking at from the perspective of if people sitting in that seating area that cantilevers out past the other cantilever, does that impede the privacy of the neighboring property? And if it doesn't, then it's fine. If it does, work with the applicant to adjust it so that it minimizes that.
Yep.
Okay, and then for condition number 6, to basically reword it, so instead of saying reduce the amount of exterior lights in order to avoid spillover and overlit facades, would be more like adjusting it to reduce the excessive
To
lighting?
highlight the architectural elements, perhaps?
Yeah, I think work with the design team to ensure that the design, the light plan is focused purely on designing or lighting the facade and not creating an excessive amount of light pollution on neighboring properties.
Okay. Okay. And then conditions 2, 3, 4, and 5 would remain as they are?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
We have a motion.
With that, I'll move the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion to approve with the amended conditions and whatever was mentioned. So motion by Board Member Welch, second by Board Member Halajian. Board Member Welch?
Yes.
Board Member Halajian?
Yes.
Chair Kaskanian?
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0 for the condition.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, so this last item actually has been reviewed by the board, and the last review took place on October 24th of last year. At that time, the design review board made a motion to return the project for redesign. The location is 1712 Glorieta. The property involves the demolition of the existing house and detached garage. The proposal is to construct a new 2-story, 3,100 square foot house with a 2-car attached garage. And it features 1,736 square feet on the lower level and 1,364 square feet on the upper level, with the attached 448 square foot garage, front porch, and a trellis at the rear. And the overall building height is now reduced compared to the original by 1 foot. It is now 26 feet 6 inches. These are some photos. I already shared this the last time with the board. Lot area is 7765. It's zoned R1. Frontage is approximately 55 feet. Relatively gently sloping terrain. It gently slopes from north to south. The house is located on a flatter portion of the lot, and the site is somewhat irregular, and the existing development, again, is a single-family house, 1-story. We already discussed the project proposal. These are the original renderings that are also in your packets. I should go back. These were the original, okay, and these are the revised renderings. And I'll highlight some of the changes compared to the original. I mentioned briefly the overall height was reduced by 1 foot compared to the original. This is context. Adjacent development to the west is a 2-story home. Adjacent development to the east is a 1-story home. And there are some split levels across the street, but predominantly it's a combination of 1 and 2, but split level 2s. Some views of the subject site. And in terms of site planning, I'll just kind of weave in some of the comments that were made by the board. They had mentioned, to the extent possible, to keep the existing driveway apron in its current form. If some widening of that apron was to be required by Public Works Engineering, they mentioned to minimize its width, avoiding an excessively large apron, and possibly preserving the existing street tree. And they deferred the applicant to contact Public Works Engineering regarding the public street tree in the right-of-way, to determine also the driveway apron requirements, and also to reduce the width of the proposed driveway on site while still preserving reasonable ingress and egress to and from the parking on site. So the applicant has mentioned that and informed staff, and this is included in the comments, the responses to comments that was included in your packet as well, that they did reach out to Public Works regarding the removal of the street tree and the widening of the apron in the right-of-way. And the width of the on-site driveway leading to the new garage was reduced to 18 feet. Originally, it was 1810. Staff is recommending a condition to further reduce, if possible, the width of the driveway on site, not the apron, on site. Perhaps reducing it immediately adjacent to the sidewalk, but widening at the garage approach. But at the same time, again, making sure that it complies with zoning code and still providing that sufficient ingress and egress. So that was one comment. And going back to the street tree, the applicant also has comments that a while back had been received from Urban Forestry, and comments from Urban Forestry, basically, if you're proposing to remove the street tree, because they are, then they would replace it, and they would have to work with Public Works urban forestry team to determine the exact location. They have some conditions in place if that were to, when that occurs, for example, in the future. So they weren't opposed to it, obviously. They were just suggesting that there are conditions that they would need to follow. But again, the applicant can maybe add on to that. Some of the other comments, well, let's just move on to the next slide. Here's the roof plan. The two gables at the front are now more on or about the same plane, so that was a modification as well that can be seen from the front facade, and the rear was modified to more like side-facing gable as opposed to rear-facing gable. And we'll move on to the floor plans. One of the comments the board had in the past at the last hearing was a consideration to adjust the floor plan as a way to appropriately reduce the home's overall mass and scale. So the applicant did revise the floor plan, and what they did was modify, for example, the staircase. So that curved staircase has been modified to a more rectilinear type of rectangular design, providing that adequate interior circulation and space, so compared to the previous. And this is the second floor plan in terms of materials and elevations. So the board has all the staff responses. I don't want to kind of, extend my time. The applicant is here. The board has our comments and our responses. So at this point, I would like to conclude. However, I would like to just point out staff still is recommending approval with some additional conditions to further mitigate the mass and scale of the second-story addition. And we have received several correspondence, which you all have copies of those, and both in favor and both in opposition. Support and in opposition, you have those. At this point, I'll conclude my remarks. So if there's any questions, I will actually continue going through the slides, and then just let me know which ones you would like me to go back to, if there's any specific questions.
Just regarding the urban forestry, did they say, obviously they have the conditions, the location, and did they say the quantity of the trees that they need to replant if they remove it?
Yes, so if I may, I had it up. Let me find it, because I had it up earlier on my screen. If I may, let me table that a few minutes, because I'm going to find those comments, because I had it earlier, so. But I believe it was just one, and I want to say it was a magnolia tree. And they just said one, and I do recall that one of the comment was that the meandering street drive, if you will, or in this case, that area that's sort of meandering, they did have if I recall, a comment that the applicant would have to work with Public Works to have it straight so that this new tree could be properly planted in the parkway based on the size that they're requiring. But again, I think I found it almost. So let me get back to you on that.
Okay. Any other questions? No. No other questions for staff? All right. Thank you, Milka. We're good?
Yes.
Okay. All right. We have a few speaker cards, so if we want to have we have the consultant of the project, Danny Manaserian, if you want to come up first, or we also have the owners of the project as well. Okay. Danny, if you could also just state your name for the mic, please.
we did a PowerPoint presentation as well, so Milka.
Did you send it to me?
Yes, I emailed it, so
Okay, one
I guess we'll
second.
wait until that opens up.
It's going to take a
Minute?
few minutes, so, well, not that long, but I need to transfer it, so please give me a few seconds. I just received it. If you wanted to kind of start, and then I'll follow up.
It's kind of going with the
Okay,
PowerPoint,
okay.
so. Be nice to have it.
We could also have, if the owners want to speak first or say any comments, I don't know if you want to go it that way.
You guys want to wait, or you want to? I would say let's just do the
Okay.
presentation first, and then,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And then once Danny's done, we're going to have Stephen and Lucine go next, so if you guys want to be ready.
Okay, why don't you,
Perfect. Okay.
um,
All right, so my name is Danny Manasarian. I'm the consultant of the project. We submitted to DRB last year, went through it once. Staff gave recommendations, and I'm going to go through the conditions and kind of pinpoint how we addressed each correction. Condition number 1 was restudy and reduce the building's overall mass and scale, forms and proportions. Avoid an overwhelming presence facing the street, respecting adjacent homes as well as other modestly scaled homes in the neighborhood. In doing so, reduce the building's mass and scale by. So there's 3 follow-up conditions here. Pushing the garage further back in relation to the front facade and street, minimizing its prominence at the front. So what we did here, so the setback in the R1 zone is 25 feet. So we originally put it at 25. And then, which is 3 feet and 7 inches further back than the neighboring property as well. So this was the original, and then we pushed it back even more at 27.9. So the difference between the right neighbor is going to be 6 feet 3 inches, and we pushed it back 2 feet and 9 inches. And also, if you do look at the site today, the existing single-family dwelling right now is at 16 feet and 11 inches. So you're going from 16.11 to 27.9. So in terms of pushing back, we've come back quite a way. So condition number 2, 1B, placing and pushing back the second floor further away from the street, and step back the second floor further from the ground level all sides, especially at the front facing the street and east left side of the house. So the first submittal, we can go to the next slide. These are the distances we had. So on the right side we have a 8.5. It's different on this, but yeah, okay, so 5.9, and then on the left side is 5.8. Okay. So the second submittal, we pushed it back way further. We're at 13.9 on the right side on the top floor, and 10 feet on the left side. So that's pretty, coming back even more would really compromise the floor plan of the second, story, because a lot of this is kind of pushed back towards the rear, and we're at 27 feet already. So, and we've also, this also did have a removing the staircase, readjusting the first floor. So that's kind of the maximum we could push without really compromising the floor plans and kind of what the owners wanted, even though they really wanted the winding staircase. But we tried to make it work. Condition number C, significantly reduce the ceiling height on the ground level. So by doing this, we dropped it down. We were at 12.8, and now we are at 11.8. So we dropped it down by a foot, which overall reduced top height from 27 to 26, which complies with the zoning code, the height limits of the R1 zone. And then condition 1D, next slide. Restudy the front porch columns, appropriately adjusting and balancing them. So the original proposal, next slide, if you can. So the window is much larger in this proposal, and the columns are kind of not centered, and that's because of that window. So if we go to the next slide, we can see the window got smaller, which allowed us to move the column to the right more, which kind of balances that whole front. So that's how we addressed that condition. Restudy the window material, design, operation, installation throughout the whole home, not vinyl, which we removed. So we went from vinyl to fiberglass, and we went from a mix of 4 different window types to basically all casement, and one awning and one fixed. So we show more consistency there throughout the operations and the windows. And does that mean 1 minute? Okay. So these are the elevations of the original window elevations and the window locations. Everything got shifted, moved around. So kind of naturally, we did restudy the windows, and we kind of tried to appropriately put them where, it makes sense. So condition number 3, the driveway, widening of the apron. Because we have that garage at the front and the existing driveway is kind of to the left, there is no other choice to widening the existing. That's the cleanest way. And within that comes the removal of the street tree, which Milka talked about. We talked to Urban Forestry. They gave us conditions on what to do. We spoke to Public Works as well in terms of widening the driveway. They're okay with it as well. And so if we can go to the next slide, the 18 feet 10 inches that we have, we reduced it to 18 here because it's a straight shot in the driveway. So the garage door is also 18. So there's no excessive, it's just straight there. Car comes in, straight, there's no, it's not 18, 10, 19, it's not larger than the garage door. So that's our logic there. So, and then the last consideration was the adjusting the floor plan to reduce the scale, which we tried our best to do, as you can see in our original and our last. We kind of we really pulled back that second floor, and we pushed in the right side. So this is the best, we could do, and, to meet the owner's needs and to comply with the design guidelines and the conditions. So yeah, that
Perfect.
kind of concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any questions?
I do have the comments, by the way. Whenever you're ready, I could share with the board.
There's no questions? No. Okay, we're good. Yeah, Milka, if you want to. Thank you so much, Danny. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me get to it. So these were the urban forestry comments. Let me jump to the recommendations. This is at 1 through 7. There's currently one street tree there, the magnolia, located in the parkway, proposed to be removed. These are the recommendations. Sidewalk adjacent to the parkway is currently meandered. Existing, this is what I mentioned earlier, where they said the existing meandered sidewalk will need to be removed and replaced with a straight sidewalk to allow for that new parkway tree and planting location. You just need to, they wanted at least with a minimum 36-inch root ball, and this was the new species, Western redbud.
Okay.
So the applicant will need to work with forestry in the future.
Okay. Thank you. All right. We have the owners of the property, Stephen and Lucine. If anyone wants to speak. You can come together too if you want. Yep. If you guys could both just address your names. Yep.
I do not like public speaking. I'm
It's
sure
okay.
Mr. Walsh knows I'm not very good at this, but I'll try my best.
first?
I wrote some notes. I'll speak for the both of us, maybe, so we'll make it quicker.
My name is Stephen Bedosian.
I'm Lucina Bedosian Carpetian. Good evening, everybody. We are the owners at 1712 Glorieta Avenue. I want to take a moment to sincerely thank you, each and every one of you, for your time and your cooperation throughout this process and your patience. I know it's been tough. Your dedication to the community is very much appreciated. As you know, this is a proposal for a return to redesign, and I'm proud to say that we have worked collaboratively as a team to address all the concerns that have been raised. We respect the rules and regulations set forth by the City of Glendale, and we have made every effort to ensure our plans aligned with those guidelines. However, I kindly ask when making your decision, considering please consider the established zoning regulations and what we are permitted to do as property owners. It is important that our project is evaluated based on these guidelines. I'll try to say it in a nicer way, rather than personal, subjective opinions of certain residents. I believe this project will not only enhance our property, but also contribute positively to the neighborhood. Thank you again, once again, for your consideration, and I look forward to moving forward with you guys at this endeavor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We also have the designer of the property, Vartan Kasmian. Okay. Nune Margarian. If you could please just say your name.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Nune Margarian. I am mother of the Lucine and my son-in-law, Steve. I want to say thank you, all of you. Thank you, all of you, to being here. And I want to just show my support on that project. I want to just say thank you to everyone, and I want to just mention it. As a state employee, I know how it's hard to work with the regulation and laws, and I want to just say thank you that you're doing amazing job, and we're trying to do everything in the right way. We're trying to be in compliance and supporting this project and getting forward, so it's gonna bring really big value of the neighborhood, City of Glendale. And I want to just let you know, as a vice president of the HOA of the building that I live, and I know a lot about regulation of the City of Glendale. I want to just let you know that I work and live in Glendale, so almost more than 25 years. And I'm really happy when I'm seeing like a new development, a new and beauty of Glendale, and we want to keep Glendale beautiful and in compliance. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate
Thank you.
to giving me opportunity to talk and support this project.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Nina Agavian? Oganyan, sorry. If you could just say your name, please.
Yeah, I'm Ani Nina Oganyan, proud citizen of the City of Glendale. I'm here supporting my
friends. I'm a resident of Glendale since 1993. I'm a proud member of the Glendale Historical Society. I've received a number of grants from the city of Glendale for art projects because Glendale is working on artifying, and I'm so proud to be a part of this community and this city. So yeah, I'm here to support my friends in their renovation project. I wholeheartedly believe that when new young families move to this city, we need to welcome them. Of course, understanding that certain projects can't be done without breaking any rules and laws. And as a neighbor, of course, I would understand when a new person comes in, you want to welcome them, but you don't want them to intervene on you and your neighborhood. However, I don't think this is what's taking place. It sounds like the architect spoke well on the back settings that they've had and that they've changed things in accordance. And so I'm very proud to hear that. I just think that, you know, I would love to raise my daughter and Lucine's daughter as neighbors. And I think all young families should be welcomed in this city with open arms. And it's unfortunate that these things happen, but, you know, we have rules to abide by. And I hope that you guys will hear them out and not oppose their changes because it looks great. It looks beautiful. So yeah, I'm here to support them.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, next we got Anna Aharonian. Anna, if you could please just state your name.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Anna Aharonian. I live at 1716 Glorieta Avenue. I am living on the east side of this property, and the house is beautiful. I don't have anything to say about the house, except that the way it is, I asked when I came here in October for the garage to be in the back. Right now, the house will be 6 feet closer to my house. So basically, the space that right now I have from the two driveways that we share is going to be half of that. So the huge wall, two-story wall, is going to be 6 feet closer to me. Other than that, this is a street that I have lived here since 1987, and the other people that spoke before me, we all love Glendale because this is where we live, and we like to make it beautiful. Except that in this street, the houses that are built from the 1930s, 1940s, they take about 20% of the lot size. So it is conforming with the area, with the neighborhood, with that street, with that block. However, this house is going to take about 37 or 39% of the lot. So it's going to be huge in the middle of the lot. And basically, the only house that we have that is larger, almost comparably, will be the street corner with a lot over 9,000 square feet lot, the house 2,700. All the rest of the block is a 780 to 1,400 square feet house. That's it. So now we're going to have a 3,100 square feet home in the middle of the block, closer to me, basically making my house darker on my west side of the house, and taking away the privacy of my backyard, because the two-story windows are going to look over my backyard. And I'm not even telling you about losing the view of the mountains, which is one of the reasons why I moved to that house, and many neighbors also. I know that it's not your prerogative to take into consideration the not losing the view, but I believe that it will be in your say as to how much this massive house will be. So I will say that it's in your prerogative to make this house smaller than it is right now and more conforming, compatible with the houses that they are already in the block. We are going to live there for whatever times. I'm sorry that yeah, thank you. The driveway, sir, we are going to lose one parking, and we are going to lose a tree. The parking is important because we are close to the Glorieta Park. That park has events, tournaments, practices every day of the week. And we are the overflow of the parking lot from the park. So I know, I lived there for more than 30 years. Losing one parking space is huge, and we're losing a tree. In 2014, when the city did the street, the whole street, we lost 9 trees. From those 9 trees, the city replaced 3, and one of them is dead. So I don't know where they're going to put a tree, because they don't have any more lot to put a tree eventually. So that is huge, and that is a consideration that I want to make. At the end of the day, is your decision, and we have to abide for that. But let me tell you something, and this is very personal. I have worked in the valley, in Sweet City, Valley Glen, and many of these small homes, small lots, had been built, these mansions, and believe me, they destroy the neighborhood. They don't have character. If you go in the Goodlands, every house is different. Every house it has character. And this is what we love about our neighborhood, and we like to preserve it. This house is beautiful, but I don't think that belongs in this neighborhood. The other two... One sentence. The other 2 projects that we saw, they were built in 20,000 more square feet lot and 40,000 square feet lot. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you.
All right. Next we have Patty Ring, followed by. Next we have Patty Ring, followed by Bert Ring. Yep. Good. Sorry.
Hello, thank you for your time.
Thank you. You could just
contribute to the
address your
board.
name,
My name
please.
is Patty Ring, and I
Thank
live
you.
at 1720 Glorietta, 2 doors down from the proposed property. And I wasn't going to start with the tree, but I think that's where I'm going to start, because this forestry and straightening the sidewalk and tearing down the tree is quite a surprise. The fact that they're moving forward with it, when we lost 9 trees, as Anna said, and that project was just about 10 years ago. Sewer went in that doesn't benefit our street. We lost all the green space on the opposite side of the street next to the sidewalk. We lost 9 trees, only 3 were replaced, 1 is dead. It's killing me. And that's just between Rustic and Kenyatta. That's not even the whole section between Verdugo and Kenyatta. Losing that tree, an old growth tree, and putting in another new tiny tree with the drought that we are having and it not being watered, it's another shade tree gone, and it's another piece of character gone. And if they straighten the sidewalk, if you could pull up the slide that shows the curvature of the sidewalk, that's a special little thing that is on our street, where the sidewalk just curves in that little nook. And it's so much nicer than just a straight, boring sidewalk. Why you would want to take out the character and put in plain and boring just for an overly wide driveway is beyond me. That driveway that they're proposing 18 feet wide goes right next to Anna's driveway. So we're talking like 27-foot wide opening that is going to be unsafe for the pedestrians and park visitors and the residents. Because when that park gets busy, people are doing mid-street U-turns on our tiny street, and that's where they're going to do it. People are going to get hit on the sidewalk. There's going to be accidents. People fly down that street way too fast to begin with. So you're going to create a bigger problem with that if this is allowed. And I don't know if that's in your control or not, but if you can talk to the people that it is in control with, we would appreciate it. As far as the garage, it's still in the front of everything else when the request was that it be set behind the front porch. It's still a prominent portion on the street. And you know, I don't feel like they listen to a lot of the concerns, because the mass and scale, I don't feel, has been addressed. I've seen very large homes that don't look huge. Things can be done. Those 2 dormers or gables in the front, whichever the term is, that really exacerbates the look of the grand scale. I think there's so many things that can be done to make this look more blendable within the design style that they have, but just reconfigured slightly. The setback on the east side, the 19-inch, I think that's just a paltry little give. You know, I don't think that that should be allowed. And then the last comment that I have is the eastern-facing window, the master bath on the second story. It's a second window within that bathroom. It overlooks several backyards. It's unnecessary. Proper ventilation can be gotten from the one window. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Patty. Next, we have Bert.
Hello, how much time do we have?
3 minutes.
Fantastic. Hello, my name is Bert Ring. I live in 1720 Glorieta with my beautiful wife, Patty. And I'd like to, I know everybody that was here last year in October had an opposition, and they're concerned about what's going on in Glendale. Everybody has been listening, and what I'd like to do is use the visuals of what we're all talking about. So I have some pictures I'd like to show. It's not going to go up on the screen, but I'd like to show you right away.
Sorry, Milka.
If pictures are shared, then they become part of the public record, and we will have to keep it in with us permanently.
And I need to have it done in watermarks before I give it out to you guys.
Okay.
I could resend it over to you.
That is a requirement. So
Okay.
alternatively, what he could do now is he can email me if he'd like the pictures now, and I can put them up on the screen, similar to how the
I have
applicant
those.
did it.
Yeah, so that's a requirement that's required by the
Yes,
city that we have to
If something
follow.
is submitted, then it would be part of the public record.
Okay. So in this case, do you have, you don't have the emails that you could send to them?
At home.
Okay. So,
Why don't we do this? Have him share it if he'd like. If you can please email them to me.
Absolutely. I would love to.
Okay,
I would love to.
thank you.
Sure. Okay. Now I begin. I'm just,
Does it still become part of public record then?
sorry, we can't address any questions.
Okay.
If you could start, please.
okay.
Yep.
Bert Ring, 1720 Glorieta, 2 houses down east of the new tenants. Here's where we live. We live right here. This is our house. Here's Anna and Rudy's house. And here's the new tenant's house that's going to be rebuilt here. Nice, quaint homes, small sidewalks, aprons and everything else that goes with it. Now they just want to rebuild it. This is what it's going to look like. Now, I know, Mr. Walsh, last year you mentioned that, we looked at the designs. It looks like it's compatible. That'll blend in with the area. How? I don't see it. I really don't see it. But, it is all lined up. We did it pretty close. I did pretty close on where the flag poles were located at, but it's still not, there's a lot of Spanish homes and single-story homes that were built in like 30s, 40s, and 50s, okay? But here's just another one that's even closer, just to show you the mass of what it looks like, and removing the tree, the maple tree. Removing the maple tree, of course, they want to extend the driveway, which, having an extra driveway, like triple driveway, is, as my wife was mentioning, we live in a fast street, Glorieta, with all the parks, everybody just going, it's like a Hot Wheels track. And everybody stops and tries to find their own parking space. So they'll find any nook to get into a driveway and turn around and park. This one will give a free-for-all. They'll just turn around and get in. It is scary, and we have that almost every night, but mostly over the weekend. Here's just one of the pictures that, before I photoshopped it, of the house itself over here and Miss Bernie's house. This is with the tree, and this is without the tree. This is the massive. It's very massive. It's a beautiful home. It really is. But it's so huge and massive. Does it fit in the area? No, it doesn't. And then we've got to talk about, which I do want to show
So
you.
you have 30 seconds.
Okay. This is our backyard. This is Anna's backyard. And we could see it from here. This is from back of my fence. This is what their house looks like. We can see the beautiful mountains here. Oops, did I take that away? I'm sorry, I think I got the wrong one. 6'8". This is her side of the wall of what she was talking about, and now she can see only just the wall of the new home. And as for,
Yep.
and I think I'm just
Sorry.
missing the one that,
So
what I'm
if you could
talking
just
about.
finish your thought, sir, and then we're going to move on.
Oh, I
Your
know.
time's up.
Okay. So basically, you know, I think it's, when we're dealing with everybody, I just got to show you this one really quick. And I don't have it. Here it is.
Mr. Chair, also, if we can make copies of them,
Yeah.
that would, for now.
Okay.
So we have that
So we have
here.
it.
All right, we'll do that for now. But I just,
We also got an email with some of these,
Yes,
right?
you
So
did.
the
they-
majority of these I'm
Yes.
going to email.
Yeah, they were
But
already
I
in
just
the
wanted
email.
to show you the downsides of the street, where everybody has their own curbs and aprons were tiny, but this one that's triple, and it's right around the corner. And when cars come around the corner of the street, it's a blind spot.
Thank you,
They
sir.
can't see.
Thank you.
So I just hope you keep that in
If
consideration.
it's the
Thank you.
same email, then yes, we do have a copy on record, and the applicant was forwarded that information as well, because it's part of the public record.
Your time.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, we have one more speaker card, Vartan Kasmian. If you could state your name, please.
Hello again, my name is Vardan Semyan. It's nice to see you guys. Nice to meet you guys. And a few items that we want to bring up from the design team is that when we went back to redesign, we took into consideration the conditions and the comments from the neighbors. We do want to address the concerns from the neighbors. That's the key item. Originally, when we came, it was more about the neighbor on the right side that we were closer to. And we wanted to figure out a way that we can address her concerns personally. If you can go to, yes, so when we move the garage back from the previous design, there is a slide that shows the neighbor's house on it, I believe also. Might be on the landscape one. When we did originally move the design back, one of her concerns, the neighbor on the right, and I believe, her concern was that when she would come out of her porch, she would be looking at the wall of the garage. And we want to demonstrate that based on where her porch is located and the entrance to her house, her porch is in, when she does come out, the building is 27 feet back. It's about 8-9 feet behind her porch. So when she does come out, she's not gonna see the building actually. It's gonna be after the start of her building. So she came out asking, well, we'll be blocking her sunlight when she comes out onto her porch every day. And that's not actually the case, because we're moving it back. The other concern regarding like the tree, as mentioned by staff, we're not removing a tree, it's gonna be replaced. And if there's a concern about street trees being removed, I hope this is a concern that was brought up by the neighbors previously and not just today. So if they are concerned about the trees being removed, they should bring that up with the city as a concern. And I believe, honestly, every house has a tree in front of it. So I don't know where are the 9 trees that are removed. So everybody has almost a tree, and you're more than welcome to plant trees on your own property. But the safety concerns regarding the park, how people drive on the street, is something we can't deal with. We can only deal with our design. And what we did is we pushed the building, as you can see. If you can go back 2 more slides.
This one? What plan?
No, back to the site plan. This one. So if you can see the second floor outline on the original design, we did push it in from all the sides, from the front, and it's almost towards the back. But the way the neighborhood's comments come in, everyone's all like, bring it in from the front, bring it in from the side. I don't want it from the back. That leaves us nothing. We have a 50-foot lot. We can't really build, and we're giving away almost 10 feet on the other side on the second floor. So it leaves us only 30 feet to actually build something. And it's very difficult to put bathrooms, bedrooms. So the design is very modest for what people need nowadays. And property values are very expensive, and we can't all have, 1,200 square feet homes, and when our family gets larger, move out and just do it. So people nowadays need a couple bedrooms, they have a kid's playroom.
30 seconds.
Overall, we did our best to address it. We lowered it in every way. We gave them an inch in every direction we could. But again, like the driveway, you can't back out of the driveway by keeping one-car driveway. That's not how the building codes are set. So we would like you to consider the fact that we would work with staff, but approve it so we can deal with it during plan check and the conditions.
Thank you. Do you have, before you leave, any questions for the architect?
I just have one question. So there was a comment I heard from the public about straightening the sidewalk and changing it from the meandering character. Is there any plan to do that? Because I don't see that reflected in the site plans.
It would be with the public works condition, and if the tree needs to go where that is, and that's
Then that
what-
would change that.
It's between the arborist and the public works.
I see. So it's not something we're actually proposing. It might be something that the other staff department would
Correct.
condition.
That's coming from Public Works Urban Forestry.
I see. Okay.
We have one more question.
Just minor question, I guess the current plan does not reflect what the Public Works recommended, so you'll update the plan?
Yes, once they give their recommendations, where they want the tree and how they want to do that, that would be reflected.
Okay. Any other questions? Nope. Okay. All right. Thank you. I don't know if Danny want to come up, rebuttal anything? Oh, and
We have several callers.
Oh, we have several callers. Okay. Sorry. Thank you.
Vic?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, you're on the air. State your name for the record. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you so much. Vic Chalabian. I work for LA CBS, so I know how much planning gets involved in this. I was just calling to support the project. I live on El Rito, and I'm completely for it. I think a lot of these homes are nearing 100 years and need some modernization. It will make the street beautiful. It's going to increase value for all us neighbors. So I have full support for it. I just want to thank everyone for their time. I know there's already an existing double driveway with 1716, so it's already a very popular place for cars to turn around. Regarding speeding, I don't think there's anything the homeowner can do about that. That's a whole different issue, different discussion. And that's all I wanted to say. I yield my time to the next caller.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ani Kachaturian? Ani?
Yes, good evening. Thank you so much for your time today. My name is Ani Kachaturian, and I have the privilege of being raised right here in Glendale. I've seen my nieces and nephews grow up here. I've gone to school from elementary to middle to high school, so I have deep love and appreciation for the Glendale community. Today, I want to express my strong support for the new single-family residence at 1712 Glorieta Avenue. This project is just, more than just building a house. It's about enriching and enhancing the community. Moreover, this construction will bring fresh energy to the neighborhood and create a more warm and welcoming environment for new young residents. As you can see, the owners of the property have very thoughtfully developed their plans, and they're more than willing to work with the city and neighbors to come up with something where everybody is happy. But at the end of the day, you really can't please everybody. In previous remarks, they stated that, there was a city decision to remove trees, and I believe holding you homeowners responsible for previous city decisions is unnecessary, and really there's nothing that they could have done about trees being removed in the past. Furthermore, adding to the comments previously stated about traffic control in the area, that too is not the responsibility of new homeowners. If that is a problem and continues to be a problem, I would think that would be raised with the city for them to rectify and resolve. I think, many homes have garages in the front. I don't think that's such a big problem, and as previously stated, the homeowners and the design team have worked to ensure that they're not encroaching on anyone's sunlight or anyone's porch views or anything like that. So I think that we need to just embrace this opportunity for growth and progress and bring some fresh life into our neighborhoods and into our city and continue to have it grow and remain the jewel city that it is. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Nairi?
Yes, hi. My name is Naira Avetisian. I'm calling to support the project. Any concerns that I had, and I was reading and listening everybody's concerns and issues, I am completely supporting what previous speaker Annie just said. I live just a few minutes away from this house, and I do believe that that house is really going to change the whole neighborhood. Everybody are for renovation. Everyone are making some effort to make their houses beautiful, better, and to renovate as much as possible. There are some concerns, obviously, and those concerns will be there no matter who is going to build a house and how they're going to be building it. I am completely supporting it, and I believe that once that house is built, everyone will be happy to see how much it is changing the whole neighborhood. Thank you very much. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. Roman?
Hi there.
You're on the air live. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Roman Sarkisian. I live a couple blocks away on Opeechee. We've been keeping an eye on this project since the last meeting in October, and I think there has been tremendous improvement. It seems like the property has a lot more dimensions now, and it looks a lot nicer and easier on the eye from the drawings. It used to look maybe a tad oversized, but now it just seems, really right. We do love the windows and overall design. Seems like it'll be a nice house in the neighborhood, and we don't have an issue with the square footage. We have quite a bit of 3,000 to 4,000 square foot houses on our street. And I think it'll be a nice refresh for the area. Thanks for the opportunity.
Okay. Aline?
Hi, guys. My name's Aline. I'm calling to pledge my full support of this project. I've been a resident of the Sycamore Woods area for 30 plus years. And because this is a true legacy area, families that move in stay for generations. And as someone who was raised here and wants to raise your family here, it's deeply important to me that our community continues to grow with quality people. I understand that there are some very practical concerns here, and I respect those who have spoken up. But in an effort to bring some perspective, I do want to remind our community how important it is to welcome families of quality who will invest in upkeep, renewal, and beautification. These old homes are beautiful, and they will eventually need upkeep. And I think that the bigger perspective here is to let them proceed so that we can continue to grow our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Tyrone? Tyrone Oganian? Tyrone? Okay, I'll put him on hold. Anna?
Yes.
You're on live on the air with DRB. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. First, I want to thank you guys for putting up with all of this. I'm born and raised in Glendale, and I have the privilege of living in the area. I'm actually at Verdugo Woodlands myself. I use the street 2 or 3 times a week for the park, and we actually love Glorieta Street. We love the park. I think that I'm very excited because this new construction will help the area, and I'm so excited to see the renovations for this street. I think it's fantastic what the owners are doing, and I think the street really does need an upgrade. To me, it seems the conditions have been addressed, and the applicants are really trying to work with the city. And I just wanted to show complete support for these owners, and I can't wait to see the final product and amazing construction.
Thank you, Anna. And that was Anna Markachian. Thank you. I'll go back to Tyrone. Tyrone Oganian? Tyrone? Okay, we'll go to Irene.
Hello.
Irene, you're live on the air.
Hi. Actually, Tyrone was my son, and he was waiting, and somebody closed the phone on him, and he left for work. I am his mom, but I'm calling for myself. I'm Irene Sarukanian, and I saw that house and neighborhood, and I'm by myself resident and owner in Glendale City. More beautiful houses and renovated houses in our city is better for our future and future of our kids. And some houses, it's like God knows what years they build it, and they need to be renovated, to be newer and do something beautiful. I don't think it's not helping to our city. It's just an excellent decision. What is the new owners of that house they decided to do? Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. And that was thank you. That was Irene Sarukanian.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm going to drop Tyrone because they'll try one more time. Tyrone? Okay. That was the last caller.
Thank you. All right. Danny, is there anything you'd like to address? Okay. So rebuttal.
Just want to say thank you for your time. We've been working with Milka for the last couple of months. Numerous emails, meetings, Zoom, all that, and we tried to get it to a place where we meet the medium and, we fit within the context of the neighborhood as much as we can. Again, it's 16 feet away, the existing house, and we're pushing it. This is going to be at 27 feet, which reduces the mass and kind of respects the context. Two-story homes by zoning code and FAR. The zoning code allows for this FAR. It allows for these two-story homes, and I believe we've done our best to kind of work with the masses to make it not as massive as it can be. So, yeah, and the right side from the first drawing, we did reduce a few windows, and we did reduce the height of the garage as well to respect the neighbor to the right. But yeah, I think that concludes my presentation.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Thanks, Danny. Anyone have any questions? Nope. Good. All right. So we're going to close the public hearing and go into deliberation now. Board Member Welsh, you want to start?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Okay, so I was the only one of the three of us who was actually at the prior hearing, so I guess I have to represent Board Members Lakaroff and the former Board Member Chagayan. So there's positive and there's negative. So again, just to focus on the positive, I do like the design. I think the design has become much more coherent. The window plan is now much more in alignment, and it speaks the same language. So I think the less sizable window there at the front is more in scale. So I think that you've done that. And I would say, just looking at the floor plan, the owner has got to be happy by just about every metric here. Every room has been improved in size. The location of the master bedroom is now at the rear of the house, a much more private location as opposed to facing the street. Their closet is larger with this design. Almost every room is at least the same size, if not larger. So from a programmatic standpoint, this is a positive for them. On the negative side, I think you did the bare minimum in terms of trying to meet the conditions that we had laid out. And I think you see that reflected in staff's condition to basically say, no, it needs more, it needs more, it needs more. The height of that second story, 6 feet closer to the adjoining property, again, this is the big concern here, is that it's towering over a home next door that doesn't have to deal with that right now. And the facade is still quite massive. If you recall, during the original hearing, I basically said, study other designs where they've put a second story in a single-family neighborhood, a single-story neighborhood. And what you'll see in those is much more roof and less stucco. And this is still a lot of stucco to me. I would really have preferred to see either no gable ends facing the street on the second floor and have it all pushed around to the outside and towards the back. We also suggested push the second-story mass over the patio there you have at the back, so that you can actually, have a covered patio in the back by pulling that mass over there. It still presents itself as a very large, prominent two-story home in what is primarily a single-story neighborhood, and to me, it does not meet with the guidelines in terms of respecting and blending into the neighborhood context. So I fully support the staff's condition about pulling in the mass on the second story further from the neighbor on the left-hand side there. And I think that it should be restudied again on the front gable ends. I think that they are still quite prominent and really render the house looking quite massive in this single-story neighborhood. So those are my thoughts on the project, but I'm curious to hear, the viewpoint of my fellow board members who are hearing this for the first time and may have completely different opinions. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, overall, I wasn't here at the last one, but I do think that they definitely have some improvements. I know that the lot size and the area of the property, I know it's a little bit difficult to work with, especially, like we said, in an area that's predominantly single story. Just to also state, we're not against adding any second stories. This board doesn't have any purview unless it's against the guidelines and whatnot. So I'm in support of the second story. I do think that what the staff had laid out in regards to the additional conditions, definitely something we need to be considering. Just considering how close it is to the neighboring properties. I don't think this is something that needs to go into a redesign. I think that if we approve it with the set conditions, I'd be okay with that. Do we need to include the public works with the trees as a condition here as well?
Not necessarily. They're going to have to go through the process anyways. But, I mean, if you still decide you want to, we can include a condition that, it's been done before, that the applicant shall comply with, the comments from urban forestry dated whatever it is. And we could just do that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm in support of the project with the set conditions that our board our staff that have laid out.
Thank you, Chairman. Just have few thoughts and comments. As a first time hearing this case, I watched the YouTube video of the recorded meeting in the past. I believe it was October. First and foremost, Danny, thank you for pointing out the original versus new design. That was helpful. The second comment that I have is the garage being at the front. Now, I drove by this neighborhood, and I noticed that there are, even though some homes have garage in the back, but there are some homes that are the garage right at the property line or close to being on the property line. So I'm kind of torn because it's the neighborhood. It's, yes, overall maybe in this pocket, if you will, that the garage tend to be in the back, but this particular street, it seems to be the garage to be on the front, at least on some houses. The driveway, I do think the driveway is massive. 18 feet is just, you can put two cars side by side comfortably. if there's any room that we can make it smaller. I'm sure there's room, of course there's room, but it just, if there's any thought design-wise to make it smaller and more accommodating of the neighborhood, I would support that. Ceiling height, I know the applicant reduced the ceiling height by 1 foot. I think there's more room to be for further reduction. I'm not sure if 11 foot 8 inches of ceiling, I'm not sure if that's even comfortable. I have a 9-foot ceiling. Anything more than that, in my opinion, it starts echoing. But it's, I do believe there's room for further reduction. I wish it was 10 foot 8 inches instead of 11 foot 8 inches, but I would love to hear if there's a good reason for that. There was a concern about a glass, I believe it was in the bathroom, that's overlooking the neighbor's property. Maybe one of the conditions could be that we can put a privacy glass there if that's not the case already. So hopefully that addresses the neighbor's concern. And then this last comment that I'm about to make it's purely recommendation. It's just something that I thought, and I'm not sure if I'm stepping over my boundaries here. Please, the staff, I would like to ask the staff to help me. Maybe one of the dead trees that the city planted, maybe there's a good faith effort by the applicant to replace that tree. Again, this is my first meeting, and I'm not sure if that's just a recommendation.
I think we could potentially include it as a consideration so that the applicant work with the Public Works Urban Forestry team to try to
Replace
keep, the tree or salvage it and relocate it. But ultimately, it's up to Urban Forestry.
Correct. So again, it's just something to consider, just a recommendation, because I'm sure they want to be part of the neighborhood, and that's just a good faith, not just, for all the neighbors that are involved. So, I mean, those are my thoughts on this project. Oh, the final comment that I have. I understand the structures around it are built in early 1930s, maybe even 20s. I'm just a little bit struggling seeing white on white, so white stone veneer on white stucco. Maybe there is more thought that can go into it to make it, contrasting color that can blend with the surrounding. Because this, if I'm not mistaken, the next doors it's brick, there's some bricks, material that was used in the 1930s. So something also to consider. Those are my thoughts, and I don't know where we go from here. Do we approve with conditions? Do we send it back to the design?
Well, we can do either of those things. It's really up to us to make a determination. I think that conditions-wise, staff's first condition about stepping back the second story further from the front and the side, we could provide a little bit more guidance. She's just giving some recommendation there, but as you saw from the first redesign, they moved it, 18 inches or 19 inches. So it was like the bare minimum of what I think checked the box. And for me, I was hoping for something a little bit, a lot more actually. I was hoping that the size would shrink. I mean, they're still maxing out the FAR of this. They don't have to max out the FAR. It'll be the largest home in the neighborhood, a neighborhood of quite small homes. So from that perspective, it will be quite a change in scale. We have it within our purview to say, no, you have to scale it down. This is all about blending it into the neighborhood context. So we have the authority to do that. Now, one of the comments that I had made to the applicant during the first hearing was that you can get away with maxing out the FAR and maxing out that square footage as long as you disguise it well, as long as you make it look that it doesn't look like a massive two-story home in a single-story neighborhood. And the most successful examples I've seen of that have been where They pushed that mass towards the back and hit it from the front by creating, more roof. So you see just a large roof, So it looks like one of those old sort of style homes, so that it has just a big roof. But they've actually hidden a second story in there. You just don't really see it from the street very well. Now, the flip side to that is by pushing that massing towards the back, that becomes in alignment with the next door neighbor's backyards. So now you're creating a conflict where you're pushing that mass further into an area where the neighbors are now looking up at a bigger mass from their backyard. Maybe looking less massive from the street, but from the neighbor's perspective, when they're sitting in their backyard, they might be looking up at something that's, more imposing on there. Whereas if you keep it more in line with the existing houses along the street, you keep that massing there so that the backyards have a little bit more air and light. So these are the conflicts that we have, and we're trying to work out the best solution here. Because, the applicant is right. They have the right to build this. The FAR, they can max it out. If we don't approve it, then they can appeal it and bring it to city council, and, city council can hear that. So that is their right. They do have by law, the zoning code allows them to do that. But the zoning code also provides for design review. And we have that statutory prerogative to say it has to blend, and this is what our opinion is for how we blend that. How much longer we'll have that discretionary authority is another question, but for right now, we do still have that, and it is our obligation to follow those guidelines.
You had also stated about bringing the massing, like covering it over the patio, something along those lines.
That was one of the suggestions that I had made, yes.
Yep. I mean, I think that an option like that would work, but then you'd fall into the situation of the neighbors. You're going into like their backyard at that point.
Correct.
But I mean, I think that you're not working with like a big property, right? So it's like, there's only so much limited space you can do. And I mean, at the end of the day, they want to build a second family home, totally understand it. You're going to have a family, you want to have, everyone have a room, et cetera, stuff like that. I think I would be open up to the opportunity to explore something like that, where we could push it back towards towards the patio.
Or we could stipulate that they should reduce the square footage so that will help reduce the massing. There's opportunities to do that. I mean, looking at the plan, I think that there's still opportunities to create more efficiencies in it. It's not in our purview to dictate that, but I see opportunities to do that. All of these rooms are higher scaled. I agree, the height, 11'8" is very tall. It's not a human scale height. If you want a human scale room, the max you're gonna be is like 10.5 feet, on a flat roof. So I think that there's still an opportunity for them to reduce that ceiling height on the main floor. I think second floor is fine. I think it's at 9 feet, and I think that's fine.
Can we pull up the conditions, please, staff conditions?
And just real quick, I wanted to highlight on the street tree, because I just want to make it clear, urban forestry is requiring them to plant a tree. So I just want to make sure that, for the record, to show, it's just not the same species.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just wanted to know my earlier question, whether the ratio is 1-to-1 or 2-to-1. So I'll leave the urban forestry to deal with that. It's just something for my own knowledge. So, board member, should we make a motion to approve with specific conditions, or?
Well, at this point, we could return it for redesign one additional time and give them the opportunity to redesign it, or we could move it forward with an approval with conditions. So it's 2 times for a redesign, right?
Correct. I mean, at this stage, you have actually 3 options. You could approve it, approve with conditions, return for redesign, or denial.
Well, I don't think we can do a denial yet. I think we have to do.
At the second, you actually can.
Oh, is it at the
yeah.
second? I thought it had to be the third.
You can't do it at the first. I'll pull it up again, but I recall I was reading through it just to make sure. And according to the code, this is in chapter 3047, final projects, because this is not the first time. You can, let me see, make a decision for the project, return for redesign, or may approve the project. The applicant, okay.
So sorry, but it's actually 11 feet. You can't say 11.8 for the first story.
Okay, we can't, if they have a question, they'll have to have you come to the podium, Danny, and it's closed, so, let me go back to, so the applicant may file, which he has done, the review, they may return the project for redesign, they may approve with or without conditions, or may deny the project.
Well, I don't think
I don't
any of
think
us
any
are
design-
wanting to deny the
Yeah,
project.
no.
I think it's just a question of trying to, again, work with them and trying to blend in the neighborhood opinions and trying to blend it into the context of the neighborhood.
Or if you're inclined to approve with conditions, how prescriptive do you want to be?
Correct.
And that's kind of, I do believe there's probably a room here to move forward with specific conditions, well-defined conditions that we can proceed moving forward. I do see the applicant is making good faith effort, even though they're probably taking the minimum, arguably. But let's give it a try, and if it doesn't move forward, we'll explore other avenues.
Okay. So I guess I would say, in terms of the second story, pulling it away from the front and the side, I'm less concerned with pulling it back from the front, really, as opposed to lessening the impact of that. It's like those vertical stucco surfaces, that is what I think is the biggest objection to me. So they don't necessarily have to be pulled back, but if you could maybe reduce them, make them more like dormers, second-story dormers, as opposed to what they present themselves as a true second-story facade. That may be a little challenging to do, but that would be one way of trying to do that, because you don't necessarily have to pull it back. It's really more about trying to figure out a way to hide it.
Yeah.
Break it up, make the roof view more prominent as opposed to the wall view.
Yep.
On the side, I think they came in 19 inches. I think that there's room to come back more. I would say it could come in 2 more feet if we want it to be pushing it. I don't think that you could do anything more than that. But it should be a minimum of another foot.
Is that on the east side?
Yes, that would be on the east side. I don't think that we have an issue on the west side. I think that there was not as big a concern there because of what it's abutting on the neighboring property. We could also add a condition to reduce the square footage as a method to reduce the massing. That is something else we could consider to do. It is a large house. I mean, in the neighborhood. It's maybe not large if it was a 20,000 square foot lot, but in this neighborhood, it's quite large.
Yep. I would like to add the condition of reducing the ceiling height further, possibly 1 foot.
So instead of 11.8, it would become 10.8?
I just heard Danny saying that they made a
11.
mistake, it's 11.
Yes,
so-
it is 11.8 specified here.
Yeah, apparently the drawings are incorrect here, so it is 11 feet. So I'm fine with the second story, 9-foot ceiling, but there is room for an additional 1 foot. And I believe you'll be finding more material available to build that,
True.
The garage, I believe the applicant said the garage door is 18 feet. It can start off as 18 feet, and it tapers into perhaps 15 feet. That's comfortable enough to make the in and out from that garage. And I want to hear your thoughts, board members here, on white on white finishes.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the guidelines specify that they should be more earth-toned colors. So if we could add a condition that to restudy the design to have more earth-tone colors and potentially more contrast between the colors. We typically don't like to prescribe colors to them, but we can specify things like use earth tone colors, create more contrast between materials so that it's helping to break up the massing further in that way.
Yeah, and I do support that comment.
Yeah. Okay.
And the final thought that I have is just the privacy glass from the
Yeah, it's
bathroom.
not specified
It's
in the
not.
window schedule, so we could add that.
Yep. So, Milka has all the conditions.
Yeah, I'm going to go over them real quick. Going back to the reduction in the, pushing in that east wall on the second floor further, did I hear 2 feet, an additional 2 feet?
I think it could be done at 2
minimum,
feet.
why don't,
I would say at a minimum 1 foot.
at a minimum 1
But
foot?
ideally 2 feet. Because I think 2 feet can be done, or somewhere between 1 and 2 can be done.
I'll just say
with
between
the
1 and 2 feet.
Yep.
This time I think it's better to be
It'd
more
be more prescriptive. yes.
prescriptive. And then potentially if they if that results in obviously losing square footage on the top, I mean, they could always incorporate that on the ground level. It's up to them.
Correct. I mean, they can either push the mass back or reduce the footprint, just shrink it.
We'll have to work that out.
They'll have to work that out,
They,
yeah.
yeah, they have tools to work that out.
And I think that there's ample opportunity to do that.
Yes.
The 3,200 square feet, you can easily squeeze that down by 10%, and still accomplish the same program.
For the front, introducing more like dormers as opposed to the gables, or kind of, which tend to accentuate the height or amplify it. I'm sorry, not the height, but the mass.
Yeah, I
So-
think I would be something along the lines of redesign the second-story front facade to present less vertical surfaces, more roof surfaces, in whatever way that the applicant, the designer, can accomplish, whether that's dormers, taking away one of the gable ends and creating just one gable end on one side or something like that. There's multiple different ways that they can attempt to do that, but the goal is to reduce the amount of vertical wall plane on the second floor at the front.
Okay. And by the way, I'm keeping that one suggested condition and stepping back, and then by adding, these are ways to achieve that. So we'll bullet point these additional items, if that's okay with the board. So we touched on the front facade. We've already discussed pushing in that east side, second floor, between 1 and 2 more feet. Reduce the ceiling height by at least 1 foot. And I believe I heard that there was an error on the plans, so the plans show, I want to say 11?
Plans show 11.8. The
Okay.
correct number, according to the architect and Danny, consultant, is 11 foot.
11 foot. So in this case, if it's by reducing by 1, we'll get it to 10?
Correct.
Okay, so I'll put that in parentheses. 10-foot ceiling height, and that would be for the lower left, first floor only.
Correct.
Okay, use more earth tone, contrasting, I guess, materials, but more earth tone colors, warmer colors, and that would help kind of distinguish between materials,
Not only that, it will blend with the surrounding neighborhood.
and also to blend with surrounding neighborhood. Okay, and the next item was to incorporate privacy glass on that second floor bathroom window on the east side.
Correct.
And then the last item was the one condition that staff had suggested. And am I hearing that the board is still inclined to keep it, reducing the width of the driveway? So you start off a little more reduced as opposed to the 18, get it as, I heard 15 feet. I mean, typically we have in the zoning code 10 or 10 foot wide at a minimum, but then not having too much paving at the front is obviously what another regulation in the code, so it regulates that. So how narrow do you want to be, how prescriptive in terms of narrowing it and then maybe widening as it approaches the garage?
Certainly widening it as it approaches the garage because they have an 18-foot garage door.
Yes.
As far as the driveway entrance from the street.
Yes.
Obviously, they need to comply with the Public Works code. I'm not sure what the minimums are, but 18 is just, in my opinion, it's massive. It's
Agreed.
That's a two-lane street. It can be reduced further. My opinion would be at least by 3 feet. So
Okay.
that puts us at 15. I'm not sure if the board agrees with that or have any comments.
I agree. I think it could probably be reduced further, but I'm fine with, some reduction at least. So to reduce it by 3 feet, a minimum.
Should we say a minimum of 3 feet?
Minimum of 3
Reduce
feet.
minimum of 3 feet.
Where it impacts the public right away.
And that leaves room for the new tree that's going to get planted, some extra breathing room to survive and thrive. So.
Okay, so I got it down, reduce the driveway by a minimum of 3 feet, and that puts them at approximately 15.
Okay.
Start with. And if they could do more, great. Okay, then, and a condition that the applicant comply with urban forestry
Correct.
requirements. That's all I have noted. I think we've captured, yes, everything that we discussed. And did we have a consideration at all with that, with the street tree, or we're just going to leave it with that last condition to?
I don't want to make it a condition.
Okay.
I think it's a good faith effort.
Okay.
It's just a suggestion or consideration.
Consideration, okay.
So,
we'll leave that as a consideration.
It's up to the applicant.
Basically keep, if possible, the same, replant that same species.
Correct.
Okay.
With consulting with the urban
Yes.
forestry. Yeah.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the project with those conditions?
I'll move forward with that motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Board Member Halajian.
I'll second it.
Board Member Halajian?
Yes.
Board Member Welch?
Yes.
Chair Kaskanian?
Yes.
Motion carries approval 3-0 with the
Thank you.
conditions.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I move we adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Okay.
Second?